Good morning, students. Today we will do chapter 2 of Hornbill. Name is We Are Not Afraid to Die If We Can All Be Together. It's a self-experience which the author is sharing with you. Very optimistic story. It will leave a good impression on your mind. If you are determined, you can succeed in life. It shows where there is will, there is a way. In this chapter, the narrator, who is 37-year-old man, he and his wife planned to do a voyage around the world. And they tried to copy, to imitate the person, Captain James Cook. As he did 200 years ago, the same the narrator wanted to do. And for that, he made many preparations beforehand. And I am going to tell you what is there in this story. The narrator and his wife, they planned a voyage around the world, just like whom? Like the famous Captain James Cook. They have been preparing and perfecting their seafaring skills for the last 16 years. For that, they get a ship which is 23 meters long and weighs 30 tons. It was made of wood and they named it Wave Walker. Wave Walker. They test it in the rough weather for months. Whenever there was rough weather, whenever the sea was rough, the ocean was rough, both husband and wife would go there to to sharpening their skills in the water. In July 1976, they all start their journey from Plymouth, England. They sail from Africa to Cape Town, which was quite a pleasant journey. It was the first step of their journey, which passed pleasantly. They did not face any hurdle, any obstacle. But before heading towards east side, the narrator hired 2 crewmen and their names were Larry Weasel and Herb Sizzler. They were there to help them tackle one of the roughest sea, the southern Indian Ocean. When they were moving towards south, they knew very well that they won't be able to tackle the situation there because their weather is generally rough. They encounter strong and alarming waves during the second day. By December 25, December 25, Christmas, they all managed to reach 35,000 kilometers east of Cape Town. The family somehow manages to surpass the bad weather and they celebrate Christmas together. Look at their optimistic attitude, positive attitude. Even the rough weather, when everything was very dangerous around them, they celebrated Christmas. They lighted the tree. The weather changes for the worse and on January 2, the big waves hit them. They try to slow the ship down by dropping storm jib. Jib, a kind of roof which is made of cloth. It is hung by the side of the ship so that they can save themselves from the hit of water and waves and wind. And hit a heavy mooring rope in a loop across a stem, across the back part of the ship, stern part of the ship, but it does not help much. They carry their life raft drill, attach lifelines, don life jackets and oilskins, whatever equipments they had on the ship to save themselves from the attack of the waves, from the attack of the water, they used them. Later in the evening, a vertical and huge wave strikes the ship, and the narrator is thrown off from the ship. Narrator remembers, he recalls how he was thrown out of the ship due to the attack of heavy wave. He accepts his approaching death. He was losing his consciousness, and he knew at that moment that the last moment had come. When the ship is about to overturn, a huge wave hit again and turns it right back. And a wave hit from this side, and the wave walker, which was tilted, it became upright. The narrator suffered injuries in the ribs and mouth. His teeth were broken. He grabs the guardrail and sails towards the main boom of the ship. Before any other wave attacked him, he wanted to reach the ship at any cost. He instructs his wife Mary to guard the wheel as he realizes that the ship has water in the lower parts. When he reached the back part of the ship, and there he saw his wife Mary, who was shouting to save them as the whole ship was filled with water and they were about to sink. Then he advised his wife Mary to sit on a wheel and save herself. And what he himself did, he saw his crewmen had started pumping water out of the ship, and the narrator goes to his children's cabin and checks on them. His daughter Sue informs him about a bump on her head, which he ignores because his major concern is to save the ship. Sue is described here as a brave girl, although she was injured badly, but she tried her best to console her parents. She did not want to extend or increase their tension in any way. The narrator does waterproofing on the gaping holes. Wherever the ship was broken, he tried his best to cover them with the canvas, with a waterproof canvas. This makes water to deviate on the right side. The hand pump gets blocked due to debris, and electric pumps get short-circuited. And however, he later finds a spare electric pump and connects it to drain the water out. They all keep pumping the water throughout the night. They tried to send mayday calls, but they were not answered. But as they were in the remotest corner, the farthest corner of the world, so they were not surprised that why they were not connected for any help to the nearby station. Sue, as I have already told you, was a brave girl. What she did, although she has now a swollen black eyes and a deep cut in her arm, when her father asked her about her injuries and why she didn't tell them earlier, then she answered that she did not want to worry as her dad was trying to save them. After 15 hours, the situation gets under control. The narrator decides to work in rotation and rests. The water levels are controlled, but the leaks were still there below the water line. The ship is in bad shape now, and it is not in a condition to reach Australia as the outer body had almost broken. And so they decide to reach the nearest island, Isle Amsterdam, a French scientific base. As their supporting engines were also damaged, the chances of the ship to reach the destination were very low. After pumping the water out continuously for 36 hours, they took a sigh of relief. Only a few centimeters of water was left to be pumped out of the boat. They hoisted the storm jib as the mainmast was destroyed. The main pole of the ship was destroyed, and to avoid any further incident, they hoisted their storm jib so that they may save themselves. They ate their first meal in 2 days, or what it was consisting of. It consisted of some corned beef, a type of meat, and crackers. The weather soon started changing, and again the black clouds took over by the morning of January 5. His son John told him that he did not fear death as long as they were all together. Students, it is a title also. Look, this filled this filled the narrator with determination to fight the sea. He wanted to make out the things. The struggle continued, and the narrator tried his best to protect the weakened starboard side. The same evening, the narrator and his wife, they were sitting together and holding hands, thinking that their end was near. His children continuously supported him, which gave him moral support to keep going. The wave walker sailed through the storm and made it. The narrator then calculated their exact position by working on the wind speed. While he was thinking about this storm and how to make it out, Sue gave him a greeting card that she had made expressing her love and gratitude towards the family. She had drawn caricatures of her parents, and inside she wrote she was very proud of her dad. He was best dad and best captain too. The narrator instructed Larry to steer the course to 185 degrees. He said that if they were lucky, they could hope to find an island by 5 p.m. He dozed off. He went to sleep and suddenly got up around 6 p.m. And at what time they had to reach there? 5 p.m. He believed that they did not make it out, and he was disappointed. Then his son John came and informed him about how they reached the Amsterdam Island, and he called him best daddy and best captain. They reached the island with little struggle, and with the help of inhabitants, only 28 inhabitants lived there. They all helped these people. The whole team, the family, and 2 crew members never stopped trying. Their struggle and hard work finally saved them. It is very optimistic story and carries a good lesson for you. And now homework for you is go through the story word by word and then write down the textual questions in your notebook.